PennsPeakRadio.com.
Hey, so we have a very special guest on the show right now. We have Jeff Hanna, the multi-instrumentalist from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. They're going to be here at Penn's Peak. Tickets are still on sale at pennspeak.com. And Jeff, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Matt. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. So we're really excited. This is going to be your first appearance here at Penn's Peak.
Yep, we're really looking forward to it. We've done, 10, 15 shows so far this year, and so this is sort of the beginning of the sort of heavy touring for us, and we love to play live. So it should be a lot of fun.
And you've been playing live your whole life. You got it all started in 1966 in Long Beach, California. Did you ever take any breaks at all? It seems like you've been playing ever since.
Oh, we took most of a year off in ~99, but that, I don't know if you'd really consider it a break because we did start playing about halfway through the year, our touring schedule usually runs through the kind of right before Thanksgiving, and it doesn't usually start in earnest till, March or April. There's a few dates scattered amongst them. And we never go out for 6 months in a row. Our long tours run about 3 weeks, and then a few days off, and then back out there on the bus again.
Right. You got it all started in 1966, and you had Jackson Browne on that record. Do you have any memories of that you'd like to share?
Well, Jackson wasn't actually on the record. Before we started recording, Jackson had left the band. He was really only in there for the first few months of the live stuff, and he moved to New York he was actually playing guitar behind this artist named Nico. She's a really cool folk artist in that sort of whole Indie Warhol, Velvet Underground scene, and Jackson was her guitar player. So he left the band, decided to leave Southern California for New York City. And at that point we got John McEwen. So as far as our sort of, formal recording career, John was there from the beginning.
Yeah, that's awesome. Then you had your first single on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. What was that, 1967?
Mm-hmm.
Buy For Me the Rain.
Yep.
And also some other strange opening gigs. Bill Cosby,
Jack Benny, and then The Doors, So all kind of within a few weeks of each other. Our band has kind of done everything. I think for the majority of our career, we've been on the road with people like, it kind of runs a gamut. Mostly, rock and what you would call Americana acts now. People like Earl Scruggs and all the way over to ZZ Top and Aerosmith. It's kind of been all over the map, and of course, a lot of great country artists in the late '70s through the end of the '80s too. People like Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings.
For 1989, you had the Will the Circle Be Unbroken Volume 2, and more big names: Johnny Cash, John Denver, Bruce Hornsby, and the late Levon Helm. And you received 2 Grammy Awards for that. Do you have? Can you share some experiences with Levon Helm? I understand that you were doing some of the Midnight Rambles as well.
Yeah, we were really fortunate to know Levon. Our band was a fan of his from the moment that Music from Big Pink came out in 1968. We were hardcore band fans. We loved the band, and we got to see them play. I think in '69. We all went to see them at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium in Southern California, and it had a huge impact on us, big influence. But Levon himself, we were able to. We did a couple after the band split up. We were lucky enough to be able to play with a couple of his solo groups that he had, Levon Helm Band, and just the nicest guy. It was really just amazing to be around the guy. He was as good as his music was. He was even a better human being. Really cool cat. And as you mentioned earlier, we got to record with him for the first time on that Will the Circle Be Unbroken Volume 2. And he hung out in Nashville for a couple of weeks after he was through with his part of the recording. And he stayed at my house for about a week, and it was just great. We just had the best time. And then a couple of years back, our band got to do the Midnight Ramble with him up there in Woodstock, which was just incredible. And John McEwen actually played at Levon's 70th birthday party they had up there in Woodstock also. Then in 2010, they did this Ramble on the Road thing where the Levon's band would go on the road, and they did a Ramble at the Ryman here in Nashville where I live, and I got to sit in with him and sing a song. That was the last time I saw him. It was just great, though. What a sweet guy. Really, really sad that he's gone. I figured a friend of mine said the other day he would have made a great 90-year-old guy, that kind of cat. Would have still been playing. Really great. But, we lost a couple of really heroes of ours last month with Levon and also Earl Scruggs. It was a huge influence on our band, and going back to the first Will the Circle Be Unbroken album that we got to record with Earl. He played on the other two projects, Circle 2 and 3. I mean, he was another really amazing guy, unbelievable musician. Something he and Levon had in common is they were the most generous, gracious guys, among the most generous, gracious people I'd ever met. But they were so good, they really could have been jerks and gotten away with it. They weren't. They're a real good lesson to all of us, I think, that as people, they were role models too.
And that's how you kept the band going for all of these years, is these great contacts and spreading the same kind of love around to them as well.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that.
And now you have the Speed of Life album, and you're going to be promoting this on your show here at Penn's Peak?
Yeah. Speed of Life came out a couple years ago, actually, but it's our most recent CD. And we recorded it with a couple great producers, John Randall Stewart and George Massenberg. And we cut the album mostly live at George's studio in Nashville, Blackbird Studio, that he had a room in at the time. And it was really, really a fun experience. The recording of Speed of Life really took us back to, trying to get everything done live and keep the spontaneity going in the studio. And that was a big deal with John Randall and George. They really wanted to capture the band the way we sounded live, but without having to deal with, all the things that can go wrong in an actual live environment like a nightclub or a concert hall. So they had this great studio, great sound, amazing gear, lots of vintage mics, lots of cool old instruments and stuff. And they just set us up like, okay, here you go. It's not going to get any better than this. Play and sing. So, I think that the final result of that record is really, really cool. We're really happy with it.
Yeah, a lot of that live recording is a thing of the past.
And stacking tracks, going in with just an acoustic and some kind of a click track or something, that you can play to for reference later, and then adding stuff, that works in its own way. But I think with a band, it's more effective to have the chemistry of human beings, in the room playing at once, playing off of each other a little bit. That really, that's something that we seem to do, that seems to work best for us.
Yeah, it gives it the more raw and organic sound. Is there a track on the Speed of Life album that you'd like me to feature on my classic rock show?
Oh, man, on your classic rock show, yeah. Play our version of Stuck in the Middle with You. That's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, I saw you have a couple covers on there.
Yeah, we got a couple. Going Up the Country is on there, too. I think that's it for, classic covers. We did those with sort of a dirt band, kind of jug bandy take on both of those tracks, which takes them a bit away from the originals, which are iconic, Canned Heat,
yeah.
Going Up the Country, and Sailor's Wheel with late great Jerry Rafferty, one of my favorite singer-songwriters.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
There's
a lot of stuff on that. There's a lot of stuff on that record I like. There's a song called The Resurrection that I really dig, and there's a tune called Tulsa Sounds Like Trouble to Me that kicks off the album. That's really fun. We play both of those in our live show.
So can you give us some insight into what your live show is going to be like?
Well, I don't want to give too much away, but
little teaser.
Pyrotechnics, we basically try to put ourselves in the shoes of the people that are paying their hard-earned dollars to come out and see us. So we cover a lot of the hits over our career, but we try to keep it fresh by injecting material, like I just said, from the latest project, from the Speed of Life album, for example. There's 3 or 4 things from there that we play. We also kind of try to shift, change it up a little bit go back and dust off a track we haven't played for a couple of years. But, there's some obvious tunes like Mr. Bojangles that we play every night, and we always put a healthy helping of bluegrass in the set. We're all over the map, Our band kind of, using once again the band as a reference. Their music really showed us that there's all these great elements in American music that you can draw from, and so sometimes we sound like a different band from song to song. Hopefully, we still sound like the same band, but we kind of go to the borders of whatever that dirt band sound is.
So what's next for the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band?
Well, hopefully we're going to do a little recording by the end of the year and get something new out for you next year. But mostly it's touring this year. We're going to be on the road from May the 17th in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, all the way through the end of October in Canada.
You have some favorite memories with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band? Maybe some other famous musicians, like you mentioned before, Levon. Maybe somebody else that you'd like to mention.
Well, of course, we've gotten it. That's a tough one because we play with so many folks that it was just mind-boggling to be in the same room with them and getting to play music with them is even more incredible. Earl Scruggs, of course, Levon. Those are great memories. Johnny Cash. We recorded in 2 or 3 different situations with Johnny, which was just amazing, and his wife, June Carter Cash, both of them, who passed on, unfortunately. We love them to death. I mean, the Carter family, the Cashes and the Carters have been so sweet to us over the years and have had a huge influence, along with the Scruggs family. Like I said, we played with ZZ Top. That was fun. Billy Gibbons is a good friend of mine. I think it's, the Allman Brothers, getting to see those guys when Duane was still alive especially was incredible. Grateful Dead. It's kind of all over the map, I'm a huge Mark Knopfler fan. I mean, I think Dire Straits is one of the greatest rock bands of all time, and Mark's solo band and records that tours he's been doing the last, 15 years or so are really just amazing. I mean, he's one of the guys that I would love to record with at some point, but getting to hang out and pick with guys like that is really, really great.
Yeah, I'd cross my fingers to hear some of that. He's one of my favorite guitar players as well. And you mentioned the Grateful Dead and the Allman Brothers. Those are 2 of my absolute favorite bands. You had the opportunity to play with them as well?
Well, actually, sort of informally. Jerry Garcia sat in with us a few times when we played out in San Francisco, which was really great. We did not do any recording with him per se, but we did get to jam with him. He came up and picked for the Dirt Band. As far as the Allman Brothers, we actually lived in the same house with Duane for a while back in the late 60s when they were out in California, called themselves the Hourglass. We were all buddies back then, so that was great. And then when the Allman Brothers Band got together, we had the great fortune of opening a show for them when, like I said, when Duane was still alive, which was just incredible to see that lineup. Pretty great. I think anybody that's been a fan of our bands, whether it goes back to the country records that we made in the 80s or the country rock stuff that we were doing in the early 70s or the bluegrass that we recorded and acoustic folk music that we did on the Circle records, we kind of put all of it in there. It all kind of became what we are, the Dirt Band. If anybody that hasn't seen us in a while should get out there because we're playing really good these days. We'd love to see you and pick and sing for you.
Oh, Jeff, you rock, man.
Thanks, man.
I can't thank you enough.
Good talking with you.
PennsPeakRadio.com